We have some major breaking news late this evening as it has been announced that Daniel Dye has been disqualified from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Nashville Superspeedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. As I just said a second ago, we got some pretty massive and major breaking news this evening as it has been announced that Daniel Dye has been disqualified from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Nashville Superspeedway. After initially crossing the finish line in 9th place, he has been disqualified. Now, why was Daniel Dye disqualified from the NASCAR Xfinity Series race at Nashville Superspeedway? Well, according to the post-race inspection report, Daniel Dye was disqualified because he was too low in rear heights of the car. This is another driver that now has been disqualified from another race. Of course, there's been a lot of this year so far, but he joins a growing list of drivers since the beginning of the year that has been disqualified in 2025. According to what others have posted and reported as well, he basically was too low for prevailing rear heights in the car. So because of this, there has been once again a change in the ruling of the top. So the top 8, of course, nothing changes. Justin Allgaier did pass post-race inspection. He cleared it. He will, of course, win the race. Connor Zill should have 2 lug nuts that were not secure on the car. If he had one more lug nut not secure, he would have been disqualified from the race, but he will remain in 2nd position. Sam Mayer continues to be in 3rd. Charles DeCree stays 4th. Ross Chastain stays 5th. Eric Almirola stays 6th, 7th for Austin Hill, 8th for Jesse Love, and Carson Quaffle moves up actually the 9th position. So from here, everyone moves up. Carson Quaffle goes to 9th. Sammy Smith gets a top 10. Now Corey Day nearly gets a top 10, finishes in 11th. Harrison Burr moves up to 12th. 13th for Brandon Jones, 14th for Nick Sanchez, 15th for Jeff Burton, 16th for Brennan Poole, 17th place finish for Josh Williams, 18th place finish for Jeremy Clements, 19th for Jeff Earnhardt, and Thomas Annunziata actually scores a top 20 spot, getting an instant tonight. He finishes in 20th. 21st for Ryan C., 22nd for the 91 of Maya Sider, 23rd for Logan Bearden, 24th for Mason Massey, 25th for Taylor Gray after his engine trouble near the end of the event, 26th for Kyle Sieg after getting caught up in the incident with Parker Retzlaff, 27th place for the 07 machine, 28th for Mason Maggio, 29th for Anthony Alfredo, and 30th for the 31 of Blaine Perkins, who spun out early in the event. 31st for Chris Wright, 32nd for Matt DiBenedetto, had, I think, some engine issues near the end of the event. 33rd for Dean Thompson. Still not sure exactly what happened to Dean Thompson at the event to cost him a shot at a top 15, but he'll move up to 33rd. William Swalsh goes from 35th to 34th. Christian Eckes, after crashing out, moves up to 35th. 36th for Ryan Els. 37 Parker Retzlaff, who was involved in an incident with Kyle Sieg crashing out. And Daniel Dye, because he failed post-race inspection, instead of getting a top 10 finish, he falls back to 38th. This is really unfortunate for Daniel Dye because Daniel Dye tonight actually put together maybe his best Xfinity run he had put together, and it looked like that 10 car was going to be a really major factor for a win tonight, or at least the top 5. But now we found out they cheated. And this is now the second time today that Kaulig Racing has gotten into trouble because, if I'm not mistaken, didn't AJ Allmendinger's car chief get removed and one of his engineers had their hard car removed tonight? Of course, AJ will have to start at the rear. There's also more penalties maybe coming for the Kaulig Racing team this week. This is another example of another disqualification that has happened in 2025. And we just had one last week with Sammy Smith. This is 3 weeks in a row now with disqualifications because Lane Reyes got disqualified after finishing second to Carson Osabar, Kansas. I think it was in the same thing in the spoiler, I'm pretty sure. Then last week, Sammy Smith, who got benefited from a disqualification, he got disqualified, I think, for the heights, I'm pretty sure. And now you've got another driver, that being Daniel Dye, that's got disqualified. And there's been like 8 or 9 other ones this year. You think about Jesse Love, got disqualified for messing with the rear of the car. Sammy Smith got benefited from that. You think about in the Cup Series this year, Eric Jones, for heights once again, he gets disqualified. You think about other drivers in the Cup Series in the last couple of years. Alex Bowman got disqualified at the Charlotte Rover for being too low in heights and weights of the car. You had other drivers in recent years, like Corey Heim, for example, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch at Pocono. And then you think about this year, we just continue seeing more and more disqualifications. Parker Kligerman in the Craftsman Truck Series race, something in the rear of the car got messed with. They appealed that disqualification, and they lost their appeal. Now, the question we're going to be asking is, will Kaulig Racing appeal this? Honestly, I don't expect them to appeal this. They may try to go ahead and appeal. Do they have a case here to win? If they can prove it, in the appeal process and can say, yeah, we didn't really cheat here. We basically had some issues in the tech side of things, that if they can prove that they didn't cheat, maybe they'll appeal it. And if they do appeal, it have to be heard this week. But because I don't think they were really a major factor at the end of the race to go to victory lane and they finished ninth instead of, like, let's say finish like in second or third for that matter, I don't think they're going to go. But I just wish we could go 1 week at some point this season without having a disqualification, because this is not just a one-time thing or a two-time thing. I think this is the record across all three series where we've had disqualifications. We've had like 2 or 3 in the Truck Series. We've had like 5 or 6 in Xfinity. And we've had a couple in Cup this year. Oh, I forgot to mention Joey Logano and Ryan Preece, who both finished in the top 5. They were disqualified this year. There have been so many disqualifications in 2025. It is absolutely wild. The only one I really feel bad for is Daniel Dye in this situation, because Daniel Dye is the one that doesn't work on the cars. He's just the one that gets behind the wheel and tries to do the best he can. Again, he did what he had to do tonight to try to get the best finish he could, but nothing to show for it now because he failed post-race inspection and post-race tech. And again, the driver's not the one that really works on the car. Back in the day, yes, that was a normal thing back in the early days and the middle days of the sport, but nowadays the drivers really don't have anything to do with it. So tough right there for Daniel Dye, who looked like he was going to be, who's been, in my opinion, the best college driver at times this year, but now he's got nothing to show for it because college racing's bad day continues. Their best finishing driver now is Josh Williams, who was involved in a wreck. Christian Eckes had a terrible day. He crashed out despite the fact he had top 10 speed. Had Christian Eckes made it through, maybe we'd be talking about him failing post-race inspection as well. I just hope we can go 1 week starting next week at Michigan for the truck race and the Cuppers. I just hope we can get through 1 week without having a disqualification, because every single week this year it seems like we're having disqualifications. We went like 1 or 2 weeks there and without a disqualification report, and for the third week in a row, we're having another disqualification. It's absolutely wild, because last year there were like maybe 5 or 6. But 5 or 6 across the whole entire season is not the end of the world. And some of them were for lug nut violations. This time around, there's been so many for rear issues, for weight issues, among other things. I just hope we can stop having disqualifications really soon and we can focus on what's happening on track, because everyone should know what the results are within the first couple hours and shouldn't have to wait 3 or 4 hours to find out, which I think that's a good thing they've done, is sped up the process on that front. But man, it's just every single week we're having some new ruling on a disqualification, and now another driver for another week has been disqualified. Absolutely wild. We continue hearing about disqualifications in NASCAR competition. So, that is going to be it for tonight's NASCAR special breaking news report on Daniel Dye being disqualified. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What thoughts about a disqualification? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And do you want to go 1 week without a disqualification? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow early morning on the channel, you're going to see the starting lineup for the race at Nashville, the Cracker Barrel 400. We're also going to have the review for the Cracker Barrel 400, depending on the weather, because weather could be a factor for the race today. And if Shane Van Gisbergen does well, we should have video. And then Monday, we're having a NASCAR news video. We got to talk about Trackhouse and silly season around them with Connor Zillich, Daniel Suarez, and Shane Van Gisbergen a little bit. Talk about Red Bull as well. We're going to talk about 2311 as well with the lawsuit, and Corey Heim and Bubba Wallace, Riley Herbst, and Tyler Reddick, and all those guys. And probably talk a little about Eric Almirola and some other people too, because they were mentioned in that article. Same with Sam Mayer. I think Sheldon Creed was mentioned in the article, and some other big names as well, like Haley Deegan, Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, Bubba Wallace, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Frankie Muniz, Matt Benedetto, Cletus McFarland, other people in the industry like Junior Motorsports and other stuff we'll be talking about on the channel in the coming days and weeks. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content, other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.